Case 1. The I-70 Killer. Imagine you're a woman working alone in a small retail store somewhere along one of America's longest highways. A quiet day. A skinny man walks in, says almost nothing, and asks you to check something in the back. You turn around to help him. You never turn back. Between 1992 and 1994, a nameless predator stalked the I-70 highway, a massive interstate stretching from Utah to Maryland, murdering women who worked alone in shops just miles from its exits. His method was surgical, a single .22 caliber bullet to the back of the head. No robbery, no assault, just death for the sake of death. Authorities have linked 6 to 9 killings to this man, with murders possibly continuing as late as 2001. Despite multiple crime scenes, modern forensic technology, and eyewitness descriptions, a thin white male, late 20s to 30s, around 5'8", nobody has ever been identified. Today, investigators estimate he's between 52 and 70 years old, almost certainly alive. The FBI has noted that a disturbing number of serial killers have been truck drivers, people who travel constantly, stop at temporary locations, and never raise suspicion. The I-70 killer fits that profile perfectly. He could be anyone on that highway, and he was never found. Case 2. The Eastbound Strangler. In 2006, a man walking his dog near a cheap motel outside Atlantic City noticed his pet fixating on something in a drainage ditch behind the building. He called the police. What they found down there still haunts investigators. 4 women, all face down, all laid roughly 6 feet apart, all heads pointed east, all fully clothed except their socks and shoes had been removed, all strangled to death. Every victim was a sex worker from the area, and the positioning of their bodies was so deliberate, so ritualistic, it suggested someone who derived satisfaction not just from killing, but from arranging the dead. And that's essentially everything known about this case. No DNA match, no suspect, no arrest. The strangler possessed enough strength to kill and transport 4 bodies into a ditch, meaning he likely wasn't old in 2006, which means he's almost certainly alive today. The terrifying part? Those 4 murders were only connected because the bodies were dumped together. If this killer simply changed locations and methods, no one would ever link a new victim back to that drainage ditch in New Jersey. Case 3. The Jeff Davis 8. Between 2005 and 2009, 8 women were murdered in Jennings, Louisiana, a small town where everybody supposedly knows everybody. All 8 victims lived in poverty. Many struggled with addiction and prostitution. Several knew each other personally. And here's where it gets deeply unsettling. Some of these women were police informants who had reported on each other to the same police department. All 8 were killed through strangulation, suffocation, or drowning, then dumped in remote swamps and canals by someone intimately familiar with the local terrain. Their bodies showed signs of deliberate efforts to prevent identification. 8 women, 4 years, 1 small town, 0 arrests. The theories surrounding this case don't just point to a lone predator. Multiple investigators and journalists have raised serious questions about potential law enforcement involvement, ranging from active participation in the killings to deliberate negligence in the investigation. Whether it was one killer or several, whether badges were involved or not, the result is identical. Nobody has ever been charged. The killer or killers walk free today, possibly protected by the very system meant to stop them. Case 4. The West Mesa Bone Collector. In 2009, someone hiking through Albuquerque's West Mesa desert noticed something protruding from the sand. It wasn't a rock or a root. It was a human bone. When police arrived and started digging, they didn't find one body. They found 11 women and girls buried beneath the desert floor, plus the remains of 1 unborn child. The victims had disappeared between 2001 and 2005. Some were sex workers, some were homeless, 1 was 15 years old. Every body had been wrapped and buried in the same isolated location by someone determined to ensure they were never discovered. Because only skeletal remains survived, authorities couldn't determine exact causes of death, though evidence of physical trauma was present. 11 women vanished over 4 years, and nobody raised sufficient alarm. Then all 11 were found in one place, and still 20 years later, nobody has been charged. The killer buried these women methodically, knew the terrain intimately, and disappeared completely. Given the timeline, this person is very likely alive today, carrying the memory of 12 lives they stole beneath the New Mexico sun. Case 5. The Vending Machine Poisoner. Japan, 1985. You're walking down the street and spot a sealed drink sitting on top of a vending machine. At the time, a popular energy drink brand was running a buy one get one free promotion, and it was common courtesy for people to leave the extra bottle on top for the next stranger. You grab it. You drink it. Within hours, your organs begin to shut down. Between April and November of 1985, 13 people died, and 35 were hospitalized after drinking beverages laced with paraquat, a devastatingly toxic herbicide left on top of vending machines across Japan. Some victims died within hours. Others suffered 6 agonizing weeks before their bodies gave out. The killer exploited a culture of generosity and trust, weaponizing kindness itself. There was no pattern to the victims. Men, women, young, old, the poisoner didn't care. There was no confrontation, no specific target, no motive anyone could identify. Just sealed bottles of death placed where anyone could find them. Police never identified a single suspect. No footage, no fingerprints, no leads. The full death toll wasn't even publicly confirmed until 2012, 27 years after the murders. And disturbingly, copycat poisonings using the same method occurred in 1998 and again in 2019. Meaning either the original killer resurfaced or inspired others to continue the tradition of anonymous murder. Case 6. The Vampire of Nairobi. This final case isn't cold, it's burning. A 33-year-old Kenyan man known only as Vampire murdered a confirmed 42 women in Nairobi between 2022 and 2024. 42 confirmed kills in roughly 2 years of body count that would place him among the most prolific serial killers in modern African history. In 2024, he was actually arrested. For one brief moment, it seemed like justice might exist. Then he escaped custody and vanished completely. Some Kenyans believe police actively facilitated his escape, a claim that, given the law enforcement suspicions we've already discussed in other cases, feels sickeningly plausible. As of right now, Vampire has not been seen or heard from since his escape. He is out there, he is young, he is experienced, and he has killed more people than most serial killers in recorded history. Every case discussed today is real. Every victim was a real human being with people who loved them, who still wait for answers that may never come. These aren't campfire stories, they're open wounds, and somewhere tonight, the people responsible for inflicting them are going about their lives, eating dinner, watching television, walking past you on the street completely free. This has been Egg Talks. Stay safe out there, and maybe check your locks one more time tonight.